What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace this power steering suction hose on this 2001 BMW 325Xi. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description, head over to 1AAuto.com. With the trunk open, over on the right side or the passenger side, there should be a cover that goes right here. This vehicle doesn't have one, but you're going to want to remove that cover. Battery is located right here. First thing I'm going to do is take a 10mm socket and a ratchet, loosen up this nut for the negative terminal, and that's loose. Slide off the cable, slide it out of the way. I'm going to take these push pins out right here. Just going to use some side cutters, get this center pin, pull that up, and then slide it out. Be careful not to cut that. Get those out. Just grab this piece, slide it out. Just gonna disconnect this connector to the mass airflow sensor. Push down on this tab, wiggle it out. Take a straight blade screwdriver, loosen up this clamp right here. Should be good. Can push that snorkel off right there. And there's all these clips holding the top of the airbox off. I'm just going to take the top off. And this last one over here, it's kind of tricky to get to. Pull the dipstick out of the way. And just grab the airbox. Pull the air filter out. I'm going to take these two bolts out. I'm going to use a 10mm socket extension and an electric ratchet. You can use a regular ratchet if you don't have an electric one or an air-powered one. Loosen them up, take them out. And just grab the airbox, slide it up. This wire is on this little grommet right here. Just try to slide that out. All right, take that off. You can just slide this out of the way. All right, I'm just gonna take the cap off the power steering reservoir. Set that aside. And I'm gonna use this fluid transfer pump. We actually sell these at 1AAuto.com. I'm gonna suck as much fluid out as I can. And I just have a drain bucket right there, drain pan. And I'll be able to transfer the fluid to the drain pan. This is just gonna make it easier, and hopefully it doesn't make as much of a mess if I suck this out before. I am just gonna take some absorbent pads and just stick them underneath this reservoir, just so that when we take these lines off, that the fluid doesn't get into the alternator. You put some type of plastic down if you wanted to. All right, it's gonna be easier if I remove the reservoir from the bracket, or the bracket from the vehicle, and just move the reservoir over. So I'm gonna take a 13mm socket extension and a ratchet, loosen these two bolts up first. Take those two bolts out, and I can take the reservoir, just slide it to the side. I can actually access that clamp a lot easier than if I was to try to get it out with this still attached. Keep in mind the direction, how this hose is routed, attached to the reservoir, because you're going to want to install the new one like that. So I'll just take a straight blade screwdriver, loosen up this clamp. You could also use a socket and a ratchet. Then you wouldn't drop the screwdriver so much. It's loose, move the clamp down, and I'll just twist, and some fluid should come out of here. So just dump it into the absorbent pad. I'll actually take this clamp's in good shape, so I'll take this off and I'll reuse it for the new one. If this hose has never been changed before, or the reservoir has never been changed, the clamp that holds this on could be a one-time use clamp, and you actually have to use a pick and either cut it off or use a pick to stretch it and then pull it off and replace it with a worm clamp. It's more like this style clamp right here. Right, so if you have a shield, you're going to want to remove that. This vehicle doesn't have one. You might have some Phillips head screws to remove right there, and then some retainers right there. So pull that down. This vehicle doesn't have it. And if you have a manual transmission, I believe you won't have this cooler right here. So that might not be in your way. If you're struggling with this, you can loosen up these 4 nuts right here, and right there. Move the sway bar down a little bit so that you can access this a little easier. Otherwise, you just struggle a little bit. I'm going to use an 18mm wrench, loosen up this, this nut right here on the power steering pressure hose. Then I'll be able to gain access to that. All right, once that's loose, you can take that down. Make sure you have a drain bucket underneath to catch the fluid. Let that drain for a little bit. So this is where the hose is, right here. In the back, it might be hard to see. You really can't access it too well from the side here, maybe a little bit. Once I'm able to get that clamp off, then I'll be able to grab it and slide it off. But I have to cut that clamp off or take a pick and try to break the clamp. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm just gonna take a long pick, just get in here, then just try to twist. Try to break it somehow, because I'm gonna replace it with a worm clamp. There's not a lot of pressure under this anyway. It's just a return line. There we go. So that broke off. So now I can actually take a pick and just go in here, try to release this. While I do that, I should be able to grab the hose here. Slide it off. And again, some fluid might come out, so keep your drain bucket. Oh, a little bit. All right, now from up top with everything disconnected, I can just slide this tube right up, just like that. Just keep in mind where you took this tube out, because you're gonna wanna slide the new hose in that same direction. Here's the old part. Here's the new power steering return hose from 1AAuto.com. As you can see, the shape of the hose is the same. It has a protective sleeve on the outside, just like the old one. It does not come with new clamps. You're gonna have to get new worm clamps. Get yours at 1AAuto.com and you'll be ready to rock and roll. So we want to position this hose the same way it came out, but I am going to take this little protective cap off, at least the bottom. I'll take the top one off too, just so I don't forget. It'll make it a little easier, and then slide this back the same way the old one came out. And then we're going to attach it down below first, and then we can attach it up top here after. All right, so there's the hose. It made it down where I need it to be. Now I need to put this worm clamp on. So you want to position the worm clamp in a way that you can access it to tighten it. And then I'll reach in through here. Just slide this hose up a little bit. I'm going to slide the hose back where the old one came off, and that's actually attached to the lower part of the power steering pump. It's just a return, or it's a suction. It's the suction side of the power steering pump. It's not the return. All right. And slide this back. All right, so I'm going to position this in a way that I can get a 8mm swivel socket, extension, and a ratchet. Tighten this down. kind of hard to get in there, so do the best you can. I mean, you could use a small screwdriver and do this as well. All right, this is working pretty good. Not too tight, that's good. All right, so that looks really good. Now what we're gonna do is reconnect the high pressure line. Slide this in right here. Get this started. I'll just take a stubby wrench. At least get this started. It'll be easier to come in here. I'll just tighten this up a little bit, and then I'll tighten it up more with the longer wrench, 18 millimeter. And take my 18 millimeter wrench and just snug this up. That's good. Now, before I lower the vehicle at this time, I'm gonna take some brake parts cleaner and just clean this all off. We made kind of a mess, so get that all cleaned off. And then if you have that cover, you can put this cover up at this time. All right, now we can take the reservoir. Oops, more fluid came out. And remember to put the clamp on first. And install the suction hose. All right, that's good. And remember, you want that in the same direction as it was coming off. So just like that. And I'll tighten this up. I'll use a 8 millimeter socket extension and a ratchet. Tighten this up. Or I could use a screwdriver. So that looks good. And I'm just gonna position this bracket back over here. Take the 13 millimeter bolts and use my 13 millimeter socket and an extension. I'll get this one started first. That's good. And put the other, the outside one, and get it started. And then I'll tighten it down with a ratchet. Snug that up. And same with this one. That's good. Good. All right, now I can remove these absorbent pads and see I didn't get any fluid on the alternator. That would be bad to get power steering fluid in there. You could damage the alternator. Now we're just gonna slide this side of the lower airbox in here. Yours may have something that this connects to. This vehicle doesn't. Just slides in position. And then this lower part slides there. And make sure these holes are lined up. Take these 2 bolts. Get these started. Take a 10 millimeter socket and a ratchet and tighten these down. I'm using an electric ratchet. If you don't have an electric ratchet, just use a manual one. Take the air filter, reinstall it. I'll take the top part of the airbox. I'm gonna slide it onto the snorkel first. Just like that. And then there's all these clips. Take these clips, lock this part down, connect the mass airflow sensor or airflow meter. And we're gonna slide this clamp right here. Take a straight blade screwdriver and tighten it down. Just snug, not too tight. Give it a shake, make sure it's good. Take this piece, slide this into the airbox, just like that. And there's retainers right here. Take those push pins, lock them down. Then we can take the negative side, connect the negative side. Take the same 10 millimeter socket and ratchet, tighten it up. That's good. At this point, if you had that cover, you're gonna wanna put the cover back where it goes. Now we're gonna add some fluid. Take the cap off, set it aside, take a funnel. Make sure you check your owner's manual for the appropriate type of fluid. Sometimes it actually says on the cap what type of fluid. You want to check underneath the vehicle, make sure you don't have any leaks. So everything's dry, that's good. So we're just going to check the fluid level. Now a lot of the fluid came out when we were changing the line, so the fluid's a little on the high side, which is okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start the vehicle up and turn the wheel back and forth, stop to stop. It is going to aerate the fluid a little bit, so you're going to have to let it sit and recheck the level, top it off again. Now I am going to have the wheels up off the ground. That's just going to make it so there's no pressure on the steering rack when I'm doing this. All right, so I'm just going stop to stop. Just going to do it about 8 times. I'll just take the cap off. It's down a little bit. It actually didn't get too aerated, which is good. Use a little more. Just use the funnel so I don't spill it. And it looks perfect. A little bit on the high side, but that's okay. I'm gonna put it down on the ground, do the same thing on the ground, and then road test it and recheck my level and adjust accordingly.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.